A very good morning to all my dear friends. I am Prashant Pavani. I hope you all are doing good. Today is 14th July. Let's see what we have got in the Hindu today. But before that, I have a positive quote as well as a question for you guys. The positive quote is, Socrates has said, an honest man is always a child. And the question is it good or is it bad to have childlike quality in today's world? Think about it, and if possible, then please pass your opinion and views on this question in the comment section of this video. Now, dear friends, today is Saturday, so you know that we don't have that many articles in terms of quantity, in terms of quality. This article is the most important one. Coming home to jail. It's about Repatriation of Prisoners Act 2003, very important act for a country like India. We'll go through it in detail, and this one is about conferring this eminence tag, a status of institution of eminence. We have talked about it many a times. We have talked about higher education many a times in recent past, in last 1 week, or you can say in 10-12 days. We have talked about HECI. We have talked about what should be ideal path for us to transform our education system, and we all agree on this thing, that education is a weapon or a tool, or you can say the only weapon or tool in our hand if we want to change the face of our country. This one is about Hima Das. She has basically got this gold medal in under 20, and she has opened, of course, a new door for other girls. She's going to be a big inspiration, no doubt, and I can see that in future we will find a film on her as well, Hima Das, because nowadays we are finding good movies on, or good biopics on, many important sports star, isn't it? And here you have a political article. So these two articles I have dropped it. We are going to analyze these two articles in detail, but it's not just two articles. I have got one more article for you guys. It's from Times of India. I have gone through many articles this morning, and I think that this article is an important one. It's about aviation in our country. We'll talk about it in detail, dear friends. But before that, I would like to introduce all of you to our pen drive and tablet courses. They are designed by the best faculties of our country. As you can see on your screen, we have covered all important competitive exams. To find out more about it, check out StudyIQ.com. You can download the PDF of today's lecture from my Facebook page and Twitter handle. And you can also share this thing with other people. This will help other students, and don't forget to hit the like button if you have learned something from today's discussion. Now let's start with this bonus article that's coming from Times of India. It's an editorial from Times of India, Safe Over India. And one of the reasons why I have decided to add Times of India's article, it's not that Times of India, it's more about this particular article, right? As you know that we have got only two important articles for your exam, so I thought that two won't be fair enough. Now your appetite is of minimum 4 or 3 articles, isn't it? So here we go. Now the thing is, recently this thing was reported in media. I'm not sure how many of you are aware about this thing, but there was, we nearly missed, right? These two planes, they were flying over the sky of Bengaluru airport, and they nearly missed each other. This could have been a very, you can say, catastrophic accident or devastating accident for many families, isn't it? And luckily this inbuilt aircraft collision alarm, they went on, and because of this thing, this collision was avoided. Now this is not just one-off incident. We have seen many such incidents. There are many other near miss reported recently, and this is a matter of concern. The reason is that see, our country is growing on economic front. Now air travel is a very important mode of commutation, because see, if you are a CEO, let me give you one example, right? Say if you are a small businessman, then of course you will opt for railway or some other mode of transportation. But if you are a CEO and you know it very well that a person who is sitting on this higher hierarchy of a big empire or big business, he or she are very busy, right? They take important decisions. Their decisions will provide economic growth for the country. They will provide many jobs as well, and they have limited time, so they have to travel from one place to another, and many times even in a single day they travel to many different places, isn't it? So air travel is the best option that they have. Now the thing is, if you find it's not only about Indian nationals or Indian businessmen and Indian businesswomen, it's also about politicians, other important scientists and other important leaders, lawyers and judges, and the list could be big, right? And it's not that other people are not important. What I'm trying to tell here is that people who are on this top position, right, their decisions will impact many other people's lives. So air travel is absolutely necessary for them. Recently, Prime Minister Modi has talked about this seaplanes, right? We are going to start seaplanes. In fact, this thing has been started in many different parts. I still remember a big advertisement a couple of years ago. It was published in, I think, Hindu newspaper. It was about Kerala, that they have started this service for boosting tourism. We are going to start this. Government of India is going to start seaplane services in different parts of our country. This will provide, this will enhance this connectivity, and it will boost business and everything. It will be win-win for the whole country. But at the same time, right, if this sort of air traffic or air traffic is growing in our country, and at the same time we find this number of this sort of incidents, right, near-miss incidents, then this is going to create big problem for us, particularly foreign nationals, right? They will avoid doing business in our country because of already they are skeptical about it. They find India as a very problematic country as far as laws are concerned and other things, are safety is concerned, and on top you have this sort of things as well. In 2011, right, every hour 67 flights used to take off in our country, and in 2017 what we find is it has gone up to 100. In 2018, 2019, 2020 it is going to be more and more. And Civil Aviation Minister recently has said that we are going to be one of the most important, right? We are already in terms of quantity big market, but it's expanding, so we need to upgrade our safety system as well. The other thing is, most of the time we find that it is these errors that are conducted by air traffic controllers, ATCs, and it's not that we have inefficient air traffic controllers. The problem is that we have shortage of ATCs. Recently there was this ad hoc recruitment drive was also conducted, and this ad hoc thing itself indicates our substandard regulatory culture. We are a country, as far as this air traffic management is concerned or air safety is concerned, you can safely say that we will dig the well when we are thirsty, and this strategy is not acceptable at all. In 2014, USA's Federal Aviation Administration downgraded our ranking. We were ranked or termed as, we were kept in a corner of most dangerous, or you can say substandard regulatory country, and this is a big dent for us as well. So this sort of things are not good for our people, not good for families, not good for you can say for economy of our country. Recently there was a plane crash, right? A charter plane got crashed in Mumbai, and if I'm not wrong, the pilot who was flying this airplane, this small plane, she said this thing that she is basically flying a very dangerous plane because it was outdated or something. I'm not too technical about planes, but this is what she said. So if this is the condition, right, if DGCA, that is Director General of Civil Aviation, if this body is following this sort of standards, then it is a big shame. It is not valuing lives of our people. So what can be done about it? We need to set up an independent aviation regulator, right? Independent one. It should be at arm's length from the aviation ministry. It should be provided all these powers and, no sort of political interference and things like that. If someone is misbehaving in plane, then as well this safety independent aviation regulator should frame rules and regulations about it. It's not that politicians can slap anyone and then they can walk free. This sort of culture is not acceptable. As far as safety standards are concerned, we need to upgrade it because of terror threats and other things, right? We also need to protect our air traffic controllers from this whims and fancies of this airport authority of our country. Their licensing and their service conditions should be free of this conflict of interest. Their salaries should be enhanced because they are doing a very important, complicated as well as important job. Their working conditions should be improved. Long hours should not be encouraged. They should get proper breaks so that they can refresh themselves. They should not be in a tired condition. Their health and every other things should be taken care of. Only then we would be able to create this safe environment for our skies or for these people who are flying in airlines in our country. And as I told you, we are one of the world's fastest growing aviation market, and safety is a thing that is associated with aircrafts, right? If you go through the figures of roadways and railways and waterways and airways, you will find that airways is the safest of from all other modes of transportation. But we can make it a bit more safer by adding latest technologies and changing the culture with this conferring this eminence tag. We have talked about it many a times now, so I'm not going into the details of these things. You know the names of these institutions as well, right? 6 institutions. I asked you this question and most of you have answered it correctly. Now 12th plan, 5-year plan. Now this thing is outdated. We don't follow this 5-year plan thing. Planning Commission is also outdated thing, but the reason why I'm highlighting this thing here is that in 12th 5-year plan, Planning Commission identified expansion, inclusion and excellence as 3 pillars of growth. Here the word is excellence that we are focusing. Apart from that, NDA government has also talked about this excellence in 2016. And of course, when I'm saying that Planning Commission, it is associated with education. And here this government's theme of excellence, of NDA government's theme of excellence in 2016, again, it is associated with education. So it talked about 10 institutions, right, should be provided with this excellence tag. And what we find is 6 institutions have been given excellence tag. There is a geo institution, right? This geo institution is not in existence yet, but then as well it has been given this institution of eminence tag. So controversy and other things are surrounding this decision. Anyways, the main thing here is that when our country got free, right, Nehruji talked about this temples of modern India, and of course education or this higher learning or these higher institutions for learning are of course part of this this model or this temples of modern India. Now what we find, some other problems that we have not talked about so far, right? We have looked at this thing from many different levels, like I told you about this whole supply chain or this whole chain, right, starting from LKG to your PhDs, right? We need to inculcate quality in all different at the different stages, at all different levels. The other thing is state universities, low output is their result. That's what they produce, right, most of them. And one of the reasons is that there is no incentive at all for research. University, the difference between college and university is basically, in layman's language, university is a place where research right is done, right? Research in different fields are going on. This is the speciality of university. Vice Chancellor, so far what I have learned, right, or what I have experienced, I can say, is that Vice Chancellors in our universities, in our country, not all of them, but most of them, you find that they are basically a sort of political appointment, right? You know that governors are appointed by president, and then this governor, of course, this ruling party at central level will appoint governors, and these governors will appoint vice chancellors, and this vice chancellors, governor of a state is the chancellor of all the universities, and vice chancellors are basically, you can say, deputies of governor as far as this universities are concerned. And then of course you can say this, if this appointment of governor is political, then you can also expect that he or she is going to appoint those people who are bit closer to or are part of their his or her party, isn't it? And then comes this politicization of higher education. You will find a touch of politics, senators and other people, and then you have this NSUI and ABVP and God knows other organizations, student organization, and then you find this whole politics going on here. So I'm sure you are aware about this sort of things. I have seen this thing in many different institutions, but I'm not too sure whether it applies to all. But I'm sure that there are many universities out there, right? If not all, there are many out there, and I'm sure you would be having similar sort of experience, because I had this thing, and I've heard it from many different students as well, this sort of things going on. So anyways, this is the thing. The other thing is expenditure. Here again we are using this word expenditure rather than investment on R&D, as a percentage of our GDP is very low. I was talking in PIB analysis about this special topic, and one of the reasons why we find China, right, in this global innovation index, results are out. China is ranked number 17, ours is 57, and as far as Central Asia and South Asia is concerned, we are number 1. But if you check China's performance, then you will find that as far as education is concerned, it has left behind many developed countries as well. China has got 2 universities of China are one of the best in the world. You find them in top 10 or top 15 list, whereas ours we are nowhere in 100 list or even in 500 top 500 list. I don't know whether recently we have entered into this top 500 list, but this is again not satisfactory, right? Remember, we are a country where university, right, took birth. Nalanda University, Takshashila University, this was our culture. So if we are not in top, then you can say that it is a matter of shame as well for us. So we are still using this word expenditure, but the real word, as far as I am concerned, I would say investment in R&D. Because if you take USA, where you find the top universities of the world, right, USA even today believes that whatever goes wrong, if they are not having money, then they will cut down expenses of president, but they will never cut down research and development investment. The other thing is, very quickly, UGC, you know that it's all about grants. This is blamed, UGC is blamed for turning this whole thing, education system, into a sort of bureaucratic process. Recently, government has, came out with this NAC committee. NAC is a sort of committee of UGC. It analyzes various different universities and colleges, and based on this thing, it will give you scores, score 1, score 2, and score 3. So recently, government talked about this thing that those universities or institutions who have scored or they have got this mark 1, they will be provided with full autonomy. They can have new courses, they can start new courses, they can hire foreign faculty, they can pay higher to their faculties, and you would be thinking that, wow, this is a good thing, there is nothing wrong with it. Yes, there is one point that will destroy everything. The thing is, if you have got number 1 and if you want autonomy, then you have to find your own fund, right? You need to find your own money. So what will happen? All those famous courses, right, will get funds. But what about some important, like, items that are associated with market? They will get more funds, but those social science research and other things, other subjects, they will not get funded, because in terms of quality of life, they are important. But as far as profits are concerned, it will take a bit of long time. So private investment or private funds will flow to all these other courses. So this will create a sort of discrimination, and this is again very bad for university. So that's everything in today's discussion as far as this particular item is concerned. Now moving on to coming home to jail. Recently we saw these two cases. One is from a person called Ismail Sama, he's from Gujarat, and the other one is Jitendra, he's from Madhya Pradesh. The sad thing is, it's very sad thing that after 9 years, the family of this Ismail came to know that he is alive. They thought that he is dead. Some 9 years ago, they gave up. Somewhere in 2009 or 10, they thought that he is dead. Now there is no point of finding him. He's been lost in sea or something. So they thought that he is dead, but they just came to know that he is alive, but he is in prison in Pakistan. Something similar happened with Jitendra as well. For 5 years, it was believed that he was dead, but now his family member came to know that he is in jail in Pakistan. Dear friends, the problem is, that after so many years of being behind the bars for not doing anything wrong, it's a big mental torture. The condition of people, you know it very well, how they would be treated. You can just imagine the pain, isn't it, through which they have gone through. And what we find is that they have got very, physical as well as mentally, they are not in good shape, these two gentlemen. One of the main reasons why it took so many years for us to find out, or their family members to find out about the condition of these two gentlemen, is because consular attention as well as nationality verification was delayed. Who should be blamed for this lethargy? Ministry of External Affairs or this IFS officers who are working in this organization? Other thing is, as far as rules and regulations are concerned, if we go through this International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, it is clearly stated in Article 12 subsection 4 that it is right of each and every individual to return to his own home country. This is assured in this article. Vienna Convention, we hear many times about this Vienna Convention. It's been used as far as this diplomatic world is concerned. Vienna Convention on Consular Relations, 1963. You need to remember the names of these acts as well, because when you are writing your mains answers, if you use this proper full, this full act name, this will indicate that you are knowing what you are talking about. So when we are discussing this thing, it's fine, you can drop some words here and there, but as far as you are writing, you should be very precise. So make sure once you download this thing, you revise it, and you should be very clear with the names. Don't confuse it, and if you are using it, then make sure you are using it rightly. United Nations Model Agreement on Transfer of Foreign Prisoners and Recommendations on the Treatment of Foreign Prisoners, 1985, also talks about this social rehabilitation. There are other laws under United Nations Conventions of 2004, Article 17 and Article 45, and all these laws are basically agreeing on one thing, that it is extremely difficult for a person, if you are a foreign national and if you are jailed in some other country, then you will be given food in that country, language problem, so many other things. You are away from your family. All these things are part of human rights, and if you are kept away in some other country's jail, then it will become very difficult for you to pass your pass your term, and many times even to get this access to lawyers and other things. This Jadav's case is a very famous one, right? India is battling it at international level as well, but there are so many silent prisoners out there who are behind the bars for a very long period of time. Now in India as well, we have got this law, Repatriation of Prisoners Act 2003, which came into force on 1st January 2004. And as far as this law is concerned, it talks about two different things. One is, it is about foreign nationals who are held in our prisons, and other one is Indian nationals who are held in foreign prisons. So there are some conditions that as far as you are ready to go or ready to come back to India, if you have no pending appeals, the offense is not an offense under military law, the sentence is not a death sentence, then you have got 6 months of their sentence still left to serve, and transfer has the consent of both treaty countries. So say for example, if it is India and Pakistan, then both the countries should be on the same page. So technically, right, people are eligible, Indian people are eligible to come back to our country based on this certain terms and condition. And if you go through the figures, then the figures are very disturbing, right? See here, in Parliament in March 2018, this year, the government said that 7,850 Indian nationals are behind the bars in 78 different countries. As far as foreign nationals are concerned, we have got 6,185, and 66% of this 6,000 is just from Bangladesh. Our home minister is in Bangladesh as we are speaking, and he has gone there to improve this border traffic management and other things. But see the condition of Bangladeshi people they are in our prison for a very long period of time. This was back in 2015, and there are other Indian nationals in different countries: UK, USA, Canada, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, and there are other countries as well. Figures are there in front of you. As far as foreign prisoners giving or handing foreign prisoners back to their home country, right, in 2015 only 9 prisoners were given back. 6 were from UK, 1 each from these 3 countries. So we are very slow as far as this process is concerned. It is a matter of shame for us, because when it comes to remittance, right, we are number 1. Our people are working in different parts of the world as students, as medical officers and nurses, and as teachers in many African countries, businessmen, job seekers, so many of them. I can go on and on. We find Indian people living in different parts of the world, and what happens when they face, or when they are in in a sort of if there is a trouble with law and our Indian national, what will happen with them? So we need to think about it, our country, right? This is a big issue, because if we are happy about the remittance that we are getting from our Indian nationals living abroad, then we need to protect them security as well. Now, coming on to important news item, a couple of months ago, government came out with this idea that it is going to look after what's going on in social media. It has also floated a tender that if any company can provide, private company can provide a software through which government can monitor WhatsApp and Facebook and other things. So Supreme Court has given 2 weeks time to central government to respond to this thing. Supreme Court has asked this blunt question, that are you trying to be a sort of snooping state? United Nations report on Kashmir is baseless, has been said by our defense minister. Remember the name of this organization, United Nations Human Rights Council, that came out with this report. A very sad thing, right, coming from Pakistan. A suicide bomber has killed 128 people. This is very sad, right? It's very wrong thing that is going on in Pakistan. Innocent people in Pakistan are being target of this sort of terrorist activities. Problems going on between USA and India, right? 2 issues. One is Iran and the other one is Russia. We have talked about this thing. I told you that as far as Chabahar port is concerned, Nikki Haley said that USA is ready to support India for the development of Chabahar port, and one of the main reason is access to Afghanistan. On the other side, crude is a big issue, but the good news is that our ambassador to USA, Mr. Navjot or Navjit Saran, I'm sorry, I don't know the exact name now as I'm speaking, but is ambassador of India to USA. And recently in a meeting he said this thing, and this was reported in news, that India and USA together, we are going to start this dialogue process between us, and we are going to sort out this turbulence that is going on between India and USA's relationship as far as Iran and Russia is concerned. So let's hope that all things are sorted out in near future. That's everything in today's discussion, dear friends. I think someone passed this comment that I should talk or explain or take you through this line. The thing is, you can download the PDF and then you can go through the answers as well as questions. You need to think about it. There is no rush, right? It's not that you have to give answer in 30 seconds. Take your time. It's a practice that we do on regular basis. That's everything in today's discussion. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday. It will be a bit late, the Hindu after 12 maybe. I'll try to get it as soon as possible, but tomorrow is Sunday, so yes, I will deliver Hindi Hindu analysis as well as English Hindu analysis like every Sunday. Enjoy your Saturday, enjoy your Sunday. God bless you all. Jai Hind.